You know, usually when your computer starts, like, completely glitching out, windows are freezing everywhere, the fan sounds like a jet engine.
Oh, yeah, just that screaming fan noise.
Right, right. Error messages
Yeah.
popping up left and right. Your first instinct isn't to go out and buy a brand new monitor.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just replace the screen and expect the computer to suddenly run perfectly.
Right, because, I mean, the monitor is merely the display mechanism.
Yeah.
It's just showing you the visual output of what's happening underneath all that.
Yeah.
The actual problem, the root of the glitch, is buried deep in the operating system.
Yeah.
So replacing the screen does absolutely nothing to fix corrupted software.
Which makes perfect sense when we're talking about laptops.
Right.
But, well, welcome to the deep dive. Today we are unpacking some incredibly dense clinical insights from Coping and Healing Counseling, or CHC.
Yes.
And our mission today is to completely deconstruct this really pervasive psychological myth.
That's a big one.
It is. It's this idea that if money stresses you out, if it keeps you up at night, the solution is always financial mathematics.
Right, like just do the math better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We are told constantly that we just need a better budget or a new spreadsheet or, one of those apps that color codes your spending.
Yeah, the pie charts.
Yes, the pie charts.
Yeah.
But as we'll explore today, treating money anxiety with a spreadsheet is the exact equivalent of trying to fix a corrupted hard drive by buying a prettier monitor.
It really is. And it's a myth that causes an immense amount of unnecessary suffering, honestly.
Yeah?
Largely because it ignores the fundamental architecture of human psychology. I mean, when we actually look at the reality of financial well-being through a clinical lens, we see this massive contradiction that the spreadsheet advice just cannot explain.
What do you mean? Like, what does that contradiction look like?
Well, there are plenty of people operating with rock-solid budgets. They have healthy savings accounts. They have fully funded retirement portfolios.
Higher?
The math on their screen is undeniably positive.
Right. They're doing everything right.
Exactly. And yet they still experience this absolute, just visceral jolt of dread when they tap the banking app on their phone.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that feeling where your stomach just completely drops out. Like
Yeah.
the rational part of your brain knows the money is sitting right there,
Right.
but your body reacts as if you've just stepped off a ledge.
Exactly. And conversely, we see the exact opposite scenario playing out all the time, too.
Really?
Yeah, you can find individuals who are under genuine, undeniable financial strain, people who are, actively struggling to piece together rent or buy groceries,
Right.
but they do not experience clinical anxiety about it.
Wait, really? No anxiety at all?
Right. I mean, they are certainly concerned, obviously, and they are working to solve the problem. But their nervous system is not perpetually locked in a state of terror.
Wow.
The alarm bells in their mind are not deafening.
That disconnect between the math on the page and the reality in our minds is so telling.
It is.
I mean, if treating money anxiety were simply a matter of balancing a ledger, the invention of Excel would have cured it decades ago.
Exactly. We wouldn't even be talking about this.
Right. So we clearly need to establish a new framework here. We had to separate the practical mathematics from the internal software of the mind, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
Well, our source material from CHC draws a very sharp, very clinical line between two distinct concepts, which are financial stress and money anxiety.
Right. And to understand the difference, we really have to look at where these experiences actually live in the body.
Okay, break that down for me.
So financial stress is the very real practical pressure of your obligations exceeding your resources.
Okay.
It is a mathematical reality, and because it is a logistical problem, it requires practical logistical resources.
So that's the spreadsheet stuff.
Exactly. You might need to increase your income, you might need to negotiate a lower interest rate, or cut unnecessary expenses. Those are spreadsheet solutions for a spreadsheet problem.
It's an external math equation.
Yes. But money anxiety operates on an entirely different neural pathway.
Okay.
Money anxiety is a nervous system response. It is your autonomic nervous system, specifically the part that handles your fight or flight response, and it's misfiring.
Okay, I see.
The key defining feature, clinically speaking, is that with money anxiety, the alarm keeps firing even after the math is completely fine.
Wow.
The perceived threat outlives the actual threat.
Okay, hold on. Let me play devil's advocate for a second here.
Sure.
Because in the real world, aren't these two things usually happening at the exact same time?
Oh, absolutely.
Right, like if I am looking at a massive medical bill that I genuinely cannot afford, or I don't know if I'm holding an eviction notice, my survival actually is threatened.
Yes, it is.
So isn't my nervous system doing exactly what it's supposed to do by going completely haywire?
That is the perfect question to ask, and the short answer is yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Your nervous system is reacting to a very real perceived threat to your shelter or your safety. The source material explicitly notes that very often financial stress and money anxiety are present simultaneously. They feed off each other in this vicious cycle.
Okay, so they get tangled up.
Very tangled up. The problem arises when we try to treat the physiological panic with a logistical tool.
Oh, I see.
If your nervous system is actively flooded with cortisol and adrenaline because you feel your survival is threatened, showing your brain a color-coded pie chart of your grocery spending is not going to tell your amygdala that you are safe.
Right. The amygdala being the part of the brain that acts as our primitive threat detector.
Precisely. The amygdala doesn't understand spreadsheets.
No.
It only understands safety and danger. So when it sounds the alarm, logic just goes completely out the window.
That makes total sense.
And this overlap is exactly why the notes from CHC emphasize that a licensed clinician is necessary here. Untangling the two is incredibly difficult to do on your own.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, a professional helps you separate what is a real-world math problem requiring financial planning from what is a nervous system misfire requiring actual clinical intervention.
That makes me wonder what this misfire actually looks like when we step away from the theory, and look at our daily routines.
Yeah, the day-to-day.
Exactly. If the spreadsheet is just the monitor, how do we spot the software glitch in our own behavior?
Well, the clinical insights highlight several specific behavioral manifestations, and they are fascinating because they demonstrate just how creatively the mind tries to protect itself.
Oh, interesting. Like what?
One of the most common is checking balances compulsively.
Oh, guilty. I think we all do that a little bit.
Sure, but we are not talking about checking a bank account once a week to ensure a check cleared.
Right.
We are talking about refreshing a banking app multiple times a day, sometimes multiple times an hour.
Wow, an hour.
Yes. The brain is desperately seeking a hit of dopamine, a momentary flash of reassurance that things are okay. But because the problem is anxiety and not math, the relief never lasts.
It's like scratching a mosquito bite. It feels productive for about 3 seconds.
Yes, exactly.
But you're actually just inflaming the underlying issue. The checking becomes a compulsion rather than a financial strategy.
Yes, but what's really fascinating is how this anxiety completely flips for other people.
What do you mean?
Well, while one person obsessively checks their app to feel a sense of control, someone else's nervous system decides the only way to stay safe is total denial.
Oh, avoidance.
Exactly. They avoid statements entirely. Mail literally piles up on the kitchen counter.
Oh, the dreaded mail pile. We've all seen that.
Right. Emails from the bank are deleted without ever being opened.
Just sent straight to trash.
Yep. The mere thought of confronting the reality is so overwhelmingly threatening to their nervous system that they just shut down completely.
That contradiction is incredible to me.
It is wild.
You have the exact same root clinical anxiety, the exact same core fear of financial ruin or lack of safety, right?
Oh.
Yet it causes one person to develop absolute hypervigilant control, refreshing their screen 20 times a day while driving someone else to completely disengage and refuse to even open an envelope for months.
It perfectly illustrates why a one-size-fits-all financial advice book so often fails people.
Yeah, because it's not addressing the root.
Anxiety is a shapeshifter. The root is the same, but the coping strategy adapts to whatever makes that specific individual feel temporarily safer.
Right.
For the avoider, ignorance temporarily mimics safety.
Wow.
But moving beyond behaviors, we also see this manifest physically.
Like actual physical symptoms.
Oh, yeah. People will experience intense physical symptoms before a bill is even due. We are talking about nausea, severe insomnia, a racing heart, muscle tension.
Just from a piece of mail.
Yes. The body is preparing to fight off a physical attacker or run for its life.
So the body literally cannot distinguish between the threat of a tiger in the woods and the threat of a digital notification from a credit card company.
Exactly.
The physiological cascade is identical.
The machinery of the stress response is ancient, and it just hasn't caught up to modern personal finance.
No, it hasn't.
And this physical tension often spills over into our relationships too, which is another key manifestation mentioned in the source material.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, projecting the anxiety onto a partner. You might find yourself in a screaming match over a $10 takeout coffee.
Oh man, I imagine this one hits very close to home for a lot of people.
Oh, definitely.
Suddenly, the temperature in the room skyrockets over a completely insignificant purchase.
Right, because it's not actually about the $10.
No.
The money is merely a proxy for deeper, unspoken fears. The argument is really about control, or a fear of the future, or feelings of inadequacy.
Right.
The partner buying the coffee feels like an unpredictable variable in a system that already feels dangerously out of control.
So if we recognize these patterns in ourselves, the compulsive checking, the pile of unopened mail, the physical sickness before payday, the misplaced anger over a latte, and we realize our nervous system has officially hijacked our financial life.
Yeah.
How do we actually rewire the mind? We've established we can't budget our way out of a physiological response.
Right, we need a new operating system.
Exactly. So what's the fix?
Well, this is where the specific clinical approaches outlined in the source material come into play. When you transition from a financial planner to a licensed therapist, the entire toolkit shifts from math to psychology.
Okay.
One of the primary interventions is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT.
Okay, so how does that actually map onto a money issue?
Well, CBT is highly effective at addressing catastrophic predictions, and money anxiety thrives on catastrophizing.
Okay, like spiraling.
Exactly. Your brain tells you, if I pay this unexpected car repair bill today, I will eventually fall behind on rent, I will be evicted, and I will end up homeless.
Just straight from A to Z.
Right. And CBT doesn't just tell you to think positive thoughts, it provides a structured mechanism to actively identify, challenge, and rewire those extreme cognitive leaps.
How so?
A therapist might have you walk through what's called a thought record.
A thought record, okay.
Yeah, examining the actual evidence for the catastrophic thought versus the evidence against it, effectively halting that cognitive spiral before it triggers the amygdala.
It's almost like acting as a defense attorney against your own irrational fears.
That is a great way to put it.
But what about the avoidance behavior? A thought record requires you to actually look at the problem.
Right.
How does a therapist help the person who is too paralyzed to even open the envelope in the first place?
For avoidance, clinicians often utilize exposure work.
Exposure work.
Yes. This is a very gradual, highly supported process of systematic desensitization.
Yeah.
The goal is to slowly teach the nervous system that the piece of paper is not a physical threat.
Wow.
A therapist might start a session by having the client simply hold an unopened bank statement while practicing breathing and emotional regulation techniques.
Just holding it, not even opening it.
Just holding it. They stay in that moment until the client's heart rate naturally comes down. And then in a subsequent session, they might open the envelope but not look at the numbers.
Oh.
It is a slow, methodical rewiring of the threat response.
That is profound. It is literal desensitization to personal finance.
It really is.
You are retraining the body's alarm system not to sound when the mail arrives.
Exactly. Now, the third clinical approach mentioned in our sources is perhaps the deepest, and it involves looking honestly at the family systems and environments we grew up in.
Okay, why is that?
Because, as the clinical insight explicitly states, a lot of this was installed early.
Installed early. I really want to latch onto that phrasing because it brings us right back to our computer analogy at the top of the show.
Oh, right.
Our childhood money lessons were basically legacy code.
Oh, that's good.
Right. It's old programming written decades ago, running silently in the background of our operating system.
That is the perfect conceptual model for it?
I mean, most of us don't even realize it's there.
No, we don't.
You think you are making a rational, analytical, adult decision about whether to invest in a 401k or whether you can afford to take a family vacation. But in reality, you are executing legacy code from when you were 7 years old.
Exactly.
Maybe you absorbed the silent lesson watching your parents panic that, money is always incredibly scarce.
Right.
Or maybe you learned that spending money on yourself means you are selfish.
Or even that money is the only thing that guarantees love and safety.
Wow. Yes, and that hidden, unexamined code subtly crashes our adult financial decisions, and we're just left wondering why we feel so terrible.
And you cannot rewrite that legacy code on your own because you were looking at the world through the lens of the code itself.
Right, you're inside the system.
You need an objective, licensed clinician to help you access that programming, debug it, and write a new script that serves the adult you are today rather than the child who absorbed the trauma.
That makes total sense.
But recognizing that need brings us to the most critical and, frankly, the most challenging part of this entire discussion.
The ultimate catch-22.
Yeah.
Because if your nervous system is already on fire because you feel like you don't have enough money, how on earth are you supposed to pay for a professional therapist to fix it?
Right.
Spending money on therapy feels like it would just dump gasoline on the financial stress fire.
It is the great paradox of seeking help for financial anxiety. But the source material from Coping and Healing Counseling addresses this barrier aggressively.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, their foundational message is that cost should not be the barrier to addressing clinical money anxiety. They have structured their entire practice model around dismantling the very triggers that usually prevent people from getting help.
Let's dig into the specifics of CHC then, because this is where the psychological theory meets practical reality.
Right.
If someone is stuck in this cycle, what does this resource actually look like?
Well, let's start with the financial structure.
Mhm.
CHC has set up their billing to bypass that initial amygdala panic we talked about. If a patient is on Georgia Medicaid, their copay is exactly $0.
Wait, zero. Which completely removes the financial barrier for those who might be experiencing the most acute combination of actual financial stress and money anxiety.
Exactly. And for those on commercial insurance plans, they accept major carriers, including Aetna, Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, and Humana. The cost generally lands between $10 and $40 a session.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When you compare that to the out-of-pocket costs of many private practices that don't take insurance, which can run upwards of $150 or $200 an hour,
Easily, yeah.
it completely changes the accessibility equation.
That's incredible. But there is another logistical barrier that CHC removes, and when I read this in the source material, it struck me as an incredibly smart clinical decision, not just a business one.
Oh, the telehealth aspect.
Yes, they are a 100% telehealth IPA-compliant practice covering all 159 counties in the state of Georgia.
The accessibility factor of full state telehealth just cannot be overstated.
No, it can't. Think about why people avoid therapy.
Yep.
When you are dealing with money anxiety, time is literally money. Time scarcity and financial strain are the twin engines driving the panic.
Absolutely.
If someone has to take 2 hours off work, lose those wages, pay for gas, drive across town in traffic, and sit in a clinical waiting room, I mean, their nervous system is already redlining before they even speak to the therapist.
Exactly. They're already overwhelmed.
Right. So by eliminating the commute and offering a telehealth model across the entire state, combined with those accessible copays, CHC is actively deactivating the alarm system.
They are.
They are bypassing the psychological triggers that keep people isolated.
It is a beautifully designed system for the reality of modern stress. Furthermore, they are not a small, limited operation.
Okay.
The practice maintains a robust team of over 15 licensed therapists. This includes licensed clinical social workers, licensed professional counselors, and licensed marriage and family therapists.
Oh, wow, that's a big team. And the source also highlights that they are a diverse, culturally competent team.
Yeah.
Which, when we think back to the idea of legacy code, seems absolutely vital.
It is essential. I mean, how your family dealt with money, the stories you were told about wealth, poverty, debt, and survival, these are all deeply entwined with your specific culture, your community, and your background.
That's so true.
A culturally competent therapist understands that context. They
Yeah.
don't just apply a generic textbook approach. They understand the nuances of the legacy code they are helping you rewrite.
And while our focus today is specifically on the intersection of money and anxiety, it's worth noting the breadth of their expertise.
Definitely.
They offer individual therapy, couples therapy, family therapy, teen therapy for ages 13 and up, alongside life coaching.
Which means they are fully equipped to handle those misplaced arguments with a partner over the $10 coffee.
But exactly.
They specialize across a wide spectrum, including general anxiety, depression, trauma and PTSD, grief, relationship dynamics, and overall stress management. And remember, a licensed clinician is the only person qualified to make a diagnosis. They are the ones who can objectively evaluate your situation and clearly delineate where the financial stress ends and the money anxiety begins, ultimately creating a tailored treatment plan to address both the math and the mind.
So for anyone listening in Georgia who is exhausted from trying to force a spreadsheet to fix a panic attack,
Yeah.
how can they directly connect with CHC?
The most direct route is through their website at cheattherapy.com. Listeners can also reach their administrative team by calling 404-832-0102, or by sending an email to support@cheattherapy.com.
Okay, great.
Once again, the website is cheattherapy.com.
We have covered a tremendous amount of ground today.
We really have.
We've deconstructed the myth of the budget, we've explored the biological realities of the nervous system, and we've laid out a practical, accessible roadmap for clinical intervention.
Yeah, and if we synthesize all the insights we've pulled from this material today, the ultimate takeaway points to a fundamental truth about human psychology.
What's that?
You simply cannot fix a nervous system problem with a math solution.
No, you can't.
You cannot budget away deep-seated trauma, and you cannot color-code your way out of a physiological fight-or-flight response.
The spreadsheet is an incredible tool for financial stress.
Yes.
It is a terrible tool for money anxiety. To truly achieve financial well-being, we have to be brave enough to look past the numbers on the monitor and examine the underlying machinery of our own minds.
Exactly. It requires a willingness to address the software.
To that end, I want to leave everyone listening with a final, slightly provocative thought to mull over as you go about your week.
I love these.
The next time you are sitting on your couch and you go to open your banking app, or you grab a bill from the mail stack and you feel that sudden, sickening jolt of panic in your chest,
Yeah.
I want you to pause before you react.
Yeah.
Take one deep breath, step back from the emotion, and ask yourself a question. Are you reacting to the actual math on the screen in front of you today? Or are you reacting to a silent financial lesson you absorbed before you were even old enough to have a bank account?
That is so powerful.
Are you simply reading the monitor, or are you running legacy code?
That is the essential question that begins the process of real change.
Thank you all for joining us on this deep dive. Take care of your finances, but more importantly, take care of your nervous system. We'll catch you on the next one.